Vinicius shines in his last two games for Real Madrid, looks to be flourishing under Arbeloa, but also an alleged victim of racism at time of recording at Benfica. Welcome back to another episode of Ball IQ Podcast. Tolu, proud Real Madrid fan today, and
Nelson, Chelsea fan, and
that's right,
ATLian.
ATL, and that's why he's wearing
If
this
you
stripper hoodie.
ah blast.
He come with this.
You could have said if you know you know, but dang,
Nah, everybody knows at this point. Wearing this Magic City hoodie. Hoodie kind of fresh. I ain't gonna hold you. I
it's
ain't gonna
cold.
kind of fresh, twin. I ain't gonna hold you, twin. But yeah, we just recording this right after the game, Benfica versus Real Madrid in the Champions League playoff. That Real Madrid won 1-0 by a wonder goal by Vini. But the story from the game is what happened right after the goal. Vini scores a great, fantastic goal, top bins, cutter from the left. Um, and then while celebrating, dancing actually, he was dancing on the at the corner flag, just dancing. Team came to celebrate. Not sure what happened after in between, but then there's videos of him just like showing his jerseys after they were booing him. Like that was his response to the crowd. I think maybe there was some maybe they took offense to his dancing. It's not the first time they've taken offense to Brazilians dancing. Um, and then allegedly number 25, we're not going to say his name for Benfica because it's not. I mean, we can't like it's not confirmed of what he said, but we kind of like get like something happened. But number 25 for Benfica was going back and forth with Vini. Trash talking per usual. You see it all the time, and all of a sudden he decides to cover his mouth and say some things. And Vinny immediately goes tells the ref, anti-racism protocols kick in, um, and the game kind of like went away from there. Then after that, Mbappe was visibly defending Vinny during the game, during the incident, and after the game resumed, every time Mbappe and Vinny touched the ball, they were booing them. So Ramage ended up winning the game. Mbappe post game was saying he heard it that he called Vinny a monkey 5 times. Yeah,
Wow.
5 times. Said he heard it. Obviously, this is not the first time. Unfortunately for Vinny, this is not the first time he had to deal with something like this. Um, and I mean, it's still happening in the game. It's weird because for the officials, I don't know how else they could handle. I personally don't know how else they can handle that because there's really no evidence than hearsay, quote unquote, about what was said. But I mean, I mean, you've been watching Vinny for a while now. He would go back and forth with you. Like if you're giving him ish, he'll give it back to you and you argue with you and whatnot. But immediately he pulled up his shirt and said something. Vinny ran straight to the ref. If it was just a normal insult, Vinny would have given it back. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I don't. You saw the goal and the incident. Thoughts on it?
I mean, it's really sad that um players it's not it's sad, but also shocking that players in this day and age think they can get away with this type of behavior on the pitch with the amount of I mean, we live in a world with 4K, several angles, and as you mentioned, there's procedures in place to prevent this type of behavior. It's outrageous that it's still happening, specifically in what seems to be the Iberian Peninsula as a whole, so Spain and
Mhm.
Portugal um together. But Vinny has a way of shining. He's a star, and a lot of players um in the presence of that shine can feel uncomfortable. A lot of fans can get riled up by that presence and his personality, and it's a little bit sad. It's very sad rather to see that the first thing they revert to is such a hurtful and also aged and dated um, derogatory remark that's so
Mhm.
popular in that region.
Yeah.
It is hearsay, as you mentioned, because he did cover his mouth, but I'm sure you'll see that moment on camera, him covering his mouth at that time, and the truth will come to light, especially if you're saying, you know, they're allegedly it was said 5 times. That's pretty damning.
Yeah. It's unfortunate, and you mentioned something there where like there are certain like there's a certain profile that is allowed to do certain things and others are not. Like even when Vini again was racially abused by Atletico Madrid fans before a Madrid derby with like make them making a like a doll of him and hanging it essentially. Um,
Mm.
and they're saying like it's because he dances to provocate the fans and all sorts of nonsense. And it's funny because on the other side, in that case, Atletico Madrid, on the other side, they have a player, a French guy. His name is Antoine Griezmann, and he does Fortnite dances when he scores. But nobody has a problem with that. So you can tell like what the real issue is there. I feel like Vinny's a very emotional player. He's not the only emotional player we've ever had. Um, so he's very emotional, very reactive. People, opponents know that, so they try and go at him because they know that he's going to give it back. And then all of a sudden he's painted as this problematic person. Um, I think it's just a very, very strong agenda towards him. I've always felt that. I felt like there are certain things that he would do that even another black player, if the person does it, fine. Like for example, when Lamine Yamal does his, his swag and stuff like that. I mean, me personally, I mean, if he talks smack, then talk smack back, but I don't really see it as a issue. But it's not as blown up on as like if Vinny said those are the same exact thing. Another thing is Rafinha. Rafinha is and Vinny are pretty much the same in terms of like how emotional they are. But nobody really talked about Rafinha's antics and when he yells at the ref and stuff like that. But if Vinny does it, boom. So I just feel like there's an agenda towards him. It feels like, but. It ruined what was a good game. Like, and it leads me to something I was also going to discuss with you. Um, I remember telling you the last time when we played Benfica and we lost, like it was just football. Like Dean Hudson had a howler, Asensio had a howler in that game. We are playing second half. We're playing three of the back four were midfielders. Like it was just one of those games. I felt like Benfica played well, but I just felt like it was one of those games. I didn't really panic as to like, oh, Arbeloa did something wrong, or he should have done this, this, this. I couldn't really, me personally, see anything in that game. And in this game, you could just see how composed Real Madrid are. Even over the weekend, like how composed we are. And I was going to talk to you about this. I know you're away at weekend, but we played Sociedad in the weekend. Mbappe was dealing with an injury, so we started Gonzalo Garcia up top.
Hmm.
Trent starts for the first time in a while, so he's fit again. Trent was was top tier in that game. He was just he was he swear he was David Beckham in that game. But Trent's assist, number one, like I don't think if Mbappe played that game, Mbappe would be there where Gonzalo Garcia scores. Like his movement, running to the box, Trent's cross finish. And Gonzalo Garcia's movements during that game creates space for Vini to kind of like have 1v1s. And if he's doubled, he has somebody to release. So I was nervous about this game because Mbappe was going to play again. There are still times where Mbappe was still falling to his habits of coming close to Vini. But if you see for the goal, when he starts to move away from Vini, he takes that double team away from Vini, and Vini is able to cut in and do what he does. That doesn't happen if Mbappe doesn't move away. So hopefully, with this 4-4-2 formation, Mbappe kind of learns to improve his positioning and not always wait for the cutback. Sometimes make the run in between the lines and stretch the defense. But all in all, I'm very, very happy with like how Abeloa has us playing. I think I mentioned it to you as well when Xabi left and Abeloa came in. Like I felt like Abeloa might be even better for us than Xabi because he was been coaching in the Madrid system and he probably understands it better than Abeloa. And like looking at Vini's form, it's just like this is the. It's just like it's not to the same degree of Amorim and Kobe Menu, but it's like this is the guy that you were having the world believe that can't play ball. Like
Mm.
this is the guy. Nah, nah, man. But yeah, we're top of the league now. I know I asked you last week if you think we could do it. I ask you again. We're 2 points clear of Barcelona. We still have to play them again at Camp Nou, but we're 2 points clear of Barcelona. Barcelona bad run of form. Do you think we can do it?
I don't know, man.
Trent is back. Carvajal is back. Rudiger is back.
Okay, so if you got your back line back, the injuries that were really plaguing the team in the first couple of months of the season, and most importantly over the winter
Hmm.
period, we were just putting warm bodies back there. It seemed
Yeah.
like it could be possible, but I don't know. I think it's just there could be a new manager bounce that sees you out through the rest of the season, but I do think there's a serious problem that exists with Kylian Mbappe. We've chronicled this on this episode several times. It's the system. It's not the system that he's in or the coach that is overseeing that system. It's a categorical like
Misfit.
unacceptance or lack of acceptance of his full role as a number nine in a system. Um, and until he does kind of the dirty work, until he tracks back, does all those things to make the players around him better and create space and whatnot. I'm not saying he doesn't, but there's real growth that needs to occur there. Maturity that needs to occur there.
Yeah.
Um, but that second striker that you guys have,
Oh,
Gonzalo,
guys, yeah, yeah.
yeah, I think if he continues to produce with that inconsistency and despite that inconsistency, yeah, there's always a chance. It's Madrid, but
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the first part of your response is what I'm holding on to the most. Just having my back line back. It's just like changes everything. Like the last two games, Dean Huijsen has had Rudiger play beside him and looks so much better than when he
Mm,
has Asensio or Tchouaméni playing beside him. He looks so much better. Today, I think official Champions League gave the man of the match to Tchouaméni, who was wonderful. But Dean Huijsen was like SofaScore gave him the man of the match actually. He
mm.
was clean, and that's who we signed. So I think that the back line kind of like would determine whether we win or not. And I mean, I say this all the time. I think Mbappe is a better player than Vini, but I think Vini is a better winger than Mbappe because Vini can do both of goal and assist. And Mbappe can't really like he doesn't have the vision. He's a killer. Like give me the ball, let me drive at somebody, let me shoot. So it's two different kinds of players. But if like today, his heat map was better. It wasn't more like he was floating around. I just feel like he doesn't. He needs to do more of those like those unrewarding runs more just to give the defense something to think about.
Mhm.
And I really think great players can figure it out. Um, somebody just needs to just like know that they have to sacrifice, and I think everything will be fine. But we'll see. 2 points ahead. Hala Madrid, we'll see. Speaking of Barca, Atletico spanked them 4-0 in the first leg of the Copa del Rey. Ademola Lookman goal and assist. If I tell you that Barcelona to this season's Barcelona, last 2 seasons, Barcelona lost 4-0, right? If I ask you, how do you think they conceded the goals? What would you say?
Highline,
They killed them on that highlight.
suicidal highline at times.
They killed them. That second run, you know when like somebody makes a run and is offside, but everybody's paying attention to that person running offside and another person just runs,
Mm,
killed them. Absolutely killed them. So they're down 4-0. I mean, it's first leg, but 4-0 is pretty hefty.
yeah.
Pretty hefty. So then they followed up that performance by losing at Girona 2-1, and that's what made us top of the league. So we'll see. We'll see. Um, in England, there was no Premier League game, a bunch of FA Cup games, but the one that was like the highlight of the weekend was Newcastle Aston Villa, and it was because Aston Villa Newcastle, I should say, and it was because of the blunders that the referees made. Um, Aston Villa should have gotten Lucas Digne should have gone sent off. Tammy Abraham's goal shouldn't have stood. I mean, they were like you can count, but luckily for Newcastle, they still ended up winning. But
Mm.
that game, for people who were saying early on, like VR is crap, VR is crap, just show them that game. Like, here you go. Do you still think VR is crap? Um, it was one of those damning games, but you should go check it out. You see what I'm talking about. It was bad. I think, and it was the perfect advertisement for Vieira for sure. But again, not too, I mean, Liverpool beat Brighton. It was just City beat Salford. It was straightforward. I don't. You guys out of the FA Cup, right?
What do you, okay, you just,
I
I don't
I
like
I,
how,
I really cannot remember who you lost to.
yeah, but I just don't understand why you're assuming negative.
No,
Okay.
I'm asking because I didn't
Okay.
see you guys
Yeah.
play.
Fix your face next time. Ask positively. We're still in the FA Cup. Our
Okay.
campaign is alive and well, touch wood. Uh, and we played, I believe we played Hull this weekend. We played
Okay.
Hull, which is the club that I think
So senior played for you.
gave us Liam Rossignol. Or where he started his career rather. Liam Delap also played there. We won 4-0. It was a rotated side. Pedro Neto played and scored a hat trick. I think it's, if I'm not mistaken, the first hat trick of his Chelsea career. He'd been kind of, I think I referenced it last week. He'd been in kind of an interesting patch of form, kind of lacking that last pass or that last bit of polish. Kind of looked a little bit like he'd been playing too much almost. Like,
Mm.
you can get to the point where it happened to um, that rat that we sent to Manchester United, Mason Mount, where he played too much
You
and you
sent
kind
home.
of
You sent home. He's home, Eunice.
yeah, exactly. We sent him to the dumpster where rats belong. But Um, he he also sometimes as a footballer, if you get played too much, you kind of get a little bit weary, and I think that happened to Pedro Neto. Um, I think right now we're seeing the best of him. Um, I know it is Hull, but and then we also got an Esteval goal, which everybody loves. What
You're always here for an Esteval goal.
Steve-O? The crowd screamed Steve-O or chanting his name, and he responded positively, recognize just some recognition. It's
Mm,
he's embraced the name.
mm,
But yeah, the biggest one of the stories from the game, it's nothing crazy, but in the tunnel before the game started, I think the Chelsea players did not like they were in the same tunnel area as the whole city kids,
mm,
the mascots as they call it in England. And there's always old clips of like Jose Mourinho and like the old Chelsea greats. No matter where we go, Jose's pulling cheeks, giving high fives. And it was kind of a bad publicity for the club just to see the players kind of walk by those mascots, not shake hands, engage them.
That's
I
unlike
mean,
Chelsea. That's on Chelsea, like yeah.
it's just a bad picture. And not to mention, just imagine how much of an impact a player like Esteval just recognizing one of the mascots, what that means to that kid. So it's un-Chelsea like as you said. I don't think it's going to be the norm, but it's just kind of one of the stories that came from this game, unfortunately. So
All right. Again, I was looking. I missed. I didn't watch the game obviously, but
I'm kidding. I'm
I'm
kidding.
like, I didn't see Chelsea play or any results. My bad, my bad. But I was like, you see, I asked like, who did you lose to? I don't remember. I
It
don't
was a
remember
Friday.
you losing.
It was the
But
Friday afternoon game, so like I
that's
got to
why.
to be honest, I got the updates and I was like, oh snap.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. Well, congrats then. Then
I
it
think
oh,
in
sorry,
the
go ahead.
next I didn't mean to interrupt, but the
Yeah,
next round we've got Wrexham. Wrexham is owned by Ryan Reynolds and the Americans. Um
that should be
that'll be an interesting matchup. Big money, just American football, American owners
fun game.
playing, yeah. So
Yeah, we'll
we'll
see.
see.
We'll see. I was going to go to Italy. Again, I keep saying repeatedly on this pod, watch the Serie A. Watch the Serie A. Inter versus Juve, fantastic game. Juve had a red card, didn't stop them from participating in the game, and he took a late winner from Zielinski. A beautiful goal. Like they gave him the ball, like I was at the top of the key back in the goal, but he had awareness that there was space behind him, so he croifed it to where the space is and slapped the ball to a bottom corner, but he went through a defender, so the goalkeeper couldn't move because he didn't see the ball in time. So it was a beautiful game, great goal to win it, jersey off and everything. It was a great game. Um, Speaking of late winners, Luca won AC Milan 3 points late as well. I think it's the first his first goal for the club. Old man Luca still pulling out performances to keep them abreast at the top of the table. I know they have a game in hand, and if they win their game in hand, I believe that would make them 4 or 5 points off of Inter, but Inter don't look like they're slowing down at all, to be honest with you. Yeah, so if they win, they'll be 5 points behind Inter with
Mm.
25 games. If they win their game in hand with 8 games to go. No, not 8 games to go. I'm tripping. 13 games to go. So anything can happen, but Inter look slow and steady. Let's see what happens. And Napoli Roma 2-2. It took another equalizer because first of all, Daniel Marlin is going there and is doing bits for for Roma, like bits for Roma. If someone that was rarely mentioned in the Prem, and he went to Roma and he's off to a flyer. So, but Napoli managed to come back and get a point. I think Roma took the lead twice. Yes. So Marlon scored 7th minute, then Spinazzola equalized, then Marlon scored a penalty to take them to the lead, and this little kid Santos comes on and scores a nice little individual goal. Um, but again, just keep an eye on Italy, man. And lastly, I know we don't speak about the French league, but PSG, I don't know what's going on there. They lost again, so Lens is on top of the league. And guess who they just signed? Lons and came in and scored in his debut, assisted in this game. Remember
Mm.
Alan Saint-Maximin?
Yes.
Yes, he left Mexico because I think his kid got racially abused in Mexico.
Oh, bah.
And I mean that's the story that I saw, and he canceled his contract with them. But I think amicably, I think him and the club had an understanding. and he canceled his contract. Went to Rennes. Rennes are now 1 point ahead of PSG. Lyon, shout out Endrick, in third place with 45 points, 7 points off the top. If Endrick goes on and does numbers and they finish in Champions League positions, dare I say win it, we up, baby. Next season, we up. Next season, we up because he's coming back. He's coming back to Madrid and he's going to turn up. I believe.
Yeah,
But
yeah, I'm bummed that because there's talk that he was going to like the two players that I thought I would have been happy as a Chelsea fan to see hit the market this summer or this window, or three rather, would have been Rodrigo, Kobbie Mainoo, and Endrick as a result of like not really fitting into the new manager's view.
yeah,
But they outlasted their managers,
yeah.
uh, which is, testament to their quality. Um, you look at players like I said, like Rashford or Garnacho, and Sancho, whoever it may be, who didn't really they didn't outlast their managers. Sancho kind of did because he's still, I think, on the
That's a
books.
special case.
Yeah,
He's a
but
special case.
um, but yeah, Hendrick is balling. Yeah, I think he'll definitely, if given the opportunity, um, that's what you get.
That's what you get. Yep. I think he's nominated for Player of the Month in his first 3 weeks in France, which is crazy.
I also think now that Pep is, things we've been hearing things more about the transition of life after Pep. You think, the candidates that are getting the most traction right now are Enzo Maresca, but also with if PSG continues to falter or slip, Luis Enrique could easily just make a little pop over there. Ain't no problem. Just similar ownership. Not really, but not same, but similar.
Similar, and
Um,
I would say similar style too to Pep.
yeah. So, and Luis Enrique is a brilliant coach, brilliant manager. The whole league would be in trouble if that happens. But yeah, we'll see how everything plays out.
We'll see.
France is
We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, but I don't
France,
see.
the French league isn't as competitive. I don't want to say that. I don't want to say that. It because there's so much talent that can come
Oh
from
yeah,
that
for
league.
sure. No, talent
Um,
wise is undoubtedly very. The pool is very deep.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, and it's just the consistency of that, like of that competition throughout 1 through 18 or 1 through 20 teams or whatever, how many teams are in their league. Um, is it, there's some really tough teams down there that are not good, that can't fancy a win on a rainy night like a West Ham, or hold you or push you to the limit like a West Ham. I think Tottenham's in 16th, 17th. That's
And then the
I don't,
Champions League.
yeah, I'm not going to say that's a sleeping giant, but that's, I that's a tough team if that's the team in 17th in your league, it's kind of a testament to, in a way, how strong that the league is. They should be higher, but
Yeah. I saw. I don't know if you saw Ange on the recent podcast talking when Thomas Frank got sacked, and he said like Tottenham lack big club mentality that and kind of like highlighted the importance of being competitive, not only from a transfer point of view, but also a wage point of view. Like offering these players, like if you want the best players, you gotta pay. You have to pay weekly. Like look at how much City is paying Guehi because they wanted him. Like look at how much the top players are earning. Even the you can see the A-listers, even the B-listers that would take your club to the next level, even if it's not to the pinnacle, the next level. Those even cost money too. So talking about how like Tottenham just they need to dare more, even though their slogan is dare to win. And it was interesting insight to his time in Tottenham. But yeah, you're right though. Like I mean, the league itself is not as strong, but they do have a deep talent pool, and I mean, if they catch you on their day, like today, Monaco almost caught PSG, both French teams, but Monaco went up 2-0 up, and they ended up losing 3-2 though, and it was a good game. But anyway, um, player of the week, my boy Vini cooked Real Sociedad, cooked Benfica. Unfortunately, got insulted racially because of it today. But again, it seems to be flourishing on that below. He has his confidence back. He's smiling. He's trying stuff. You can just tell like he's getting back to himself, and I love that for him. But I mean, he was a standout player for me this weekend for sure. Do you have anybody else you want to throw in the ring?
I mean, no, just shout out Pedro
Pedro.
Neto for his that hat trick. I mean, I'm not
That trick
gonna.
is a hat trick.
A Hattie's a Hattie. It doesn't matter who. So
Yeah,
that we nobody really saw that coming. So I think every a Chelsea fan just slow clapped. Just gave flowers and thank you for making it not a sweaty match. But I think Vinny, given the circumstances and the form over the past two games,
yeah.
uh,
Yeah, for sure. Again, the game, the weekend was against Sociedad, the top team in Spain, then away at Benfica, who we just lost to a couple weeks ago, and wins the game like that, and then yeah, definitely player of the week. The first time since we've been doing this pod that I remember him being player of the week, I think, but I may be wrong. You guys let us know in the comments. Um, Goal of the week, I mentioned Zelensky's goal was a tidy goal to win the game for Inter against Juventus, but that Vini goal against Benfica was so good he got insulted racially for it. That's how good the goal was. Um, that was my goal of the week for sure. Um, I I mean, again, like I said, only that Zelensky goal really comes to mind of the goals that I saw. So if you guys saw any goal that rivaled that Vini goal, please let us know. I don't know if you saw anything else that you deemed maybe better than the Vini goal.
mm, no, I don't think so.
Mm.
That was a heck of a goal. And then I
Vini,
mean, yeah, it was a really really well taken shot. So.
yeah. And over the weekend, not much. I mean, with Spain, with Madrid now taking the lead, you obviously want to watch Madrid this weekend and Barcelona this weekend to see if Madrid can like keep the lead at least for the weekend. But in the Prem, the game that really stands out is the North London Derby and Tottenham with who sacked Thomas Frank since the last time we spoke. They have Igor Tudor, which I thought was a very strange appointment. He just coached Juventus last year. I don't even know where the connection between him and Tottenham came from. I have no idea. But he'll in the dugout for Spurs against Arsenal. Arsenal dropped points. We didn't talk about that.
Hmm.
Lead is now 4 points all of a sudden.
Yeah, I got a lot of friends, Arsenal friends, who are very deeply concerned. Because yeah, looking at their run of or their run of form, and then the next couple of games, Chelsea's at Aston Villa, and then we play Arsenal. I think the North London Derby is this weekend. You can't just write that off, even though they do typically batter Tottenham, but you can't really just write that off. Um, so yeah, it's looking.
It's looking real
It's looking.
sticky.
Hmm.
It's looking real sticky. Actually, now that you said that, I need to look at Arsenal's next run of games. I think you said they're playing Chelsea next after this.
They're
Yeah.
playing, yeah, they're playing Spurs, and then no, excuse me, they're playing Brighton, then Chelsea, then Spurs.
Who
No,
Arsenal?
excuse me. I'm sorry. They're playing
They're
Wolves,
playing Wolves.
Yeah, playing Wolves, which should be easy money, and
Yeah,
then they're
tomorrow.
playing Spurs.
Then
Yeah,
they play
they're playing,
Spurs. Then they
and
play
then they're playing.
Chelsea. Then they play Brighton. That's then Everton, then Bournemouth, then City, then Newcastle, then full. Oh my goodness.
Mhm. It's precarious.
It is not, it is not, it's sticky. It's sticky. Four points is not enough.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look
And
at City's, sorry, go ahead.
yeah, no, that Leeds loss or Leeds tie that we had last week hurts even more because again, the next couple of games we had time to kind of like gain form. Leeds isn't incredible. They're a good side, but we shouldn't be giving Leeds 4 points across two games. And that's what we did. And now we have to play significantly more developed opponents, with the exception of Burnley. But watch us give points to Burnley. Watch.
Don't just give us praise to praise. But I'm looking at City. City has an easier run. However, they still need to go to Chelsea and they still need to host Arsenal. So, but other than those two games, maybe Villa last game of the season, maybe Brentford at home, maybe. But like also definitely have the tougher run of games coming. So we'll see. We'll see what they're made of. We'll see what they're made of.
We shall see.
We shall see. Well, that was all I had. Please like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for your support. Do you have any last words to leave the good people with?
Um, no, I mean, no.
No, I
Keep the
have a
blue
last.
flag flying high. Keep the blue flag flying high.
I have some last words. BAILA Vini, BAILA Vini. Keep dancing, Vini. Keep dancing. All right, guys. Thank you for your support. Catch you guys on the next one. Peace.
Peace.